Welcome to the Encouragement for Work podcast with your host, Mark Griffin, founder and owner of In His Name HR. Each week, Mark interviews nationally known thought leaders from corporate America, higher education, churches, and ministries. His goal is to bring you great ideas that help engage your employees, shift your culture toward higher performance, and increase employee loyalty at the organization you lead. Each episode features an idea or process that's made a tremendous impact on employees and employers alike. Now sit back, relax, and listen in as he delivers encouragement today through this episode's special guest.
Hello, and welcome to the Encouragement for Work podcast. I'm your host, Mark Griffin. We are so excited to have our good friend Carl Diffendorfer on this episode of Encouragement for Work. I've known Carl for many, many years. Carl has had such an incredible impact in the Lancaster County community with so many different organizations, not just Christian-owned for-profit businesses, but also ministries and churches as well. And we have a lot in common, Carl and I do, and a phenomenal idea has percolated in the last 6 months to a year, and we're going to be talking about that idea today. But first, I want to introduce Carl, and Carl's going to tell us a little bit about himself and his background. Carl, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's so exciting. Thank you for having me. Yeah, a little bit about me. Born and raised in Lancaster on a dairy farm. So I'm a farm boy. I know I don't look like it, but I am. And there I learned some great principles about working hard. So over the years, I started and grew an award-winning marketing company, sold that at the age of 32. And from there, I was like, well, I'm too young to retire, so what do I do now? And at that point, decided to jump into the executive coaching and consulting space and began building a coaching practice that goes out and helps businesses use their business for God's glory and really be successful in business. And in that time, I've done over 10,000 coaching sessions now and coach the coaches and have been blessed now to have a season where I have more time. And from that began the process of launching the Pennsylvania Christian Chamber of Commerce. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but that's really kind of my background and what I've been doing here over the years.
Carl, you have an amazing background. Listeners have known Carl for about 20 years. We met at a church that we attended at the time, LCBC Church, Lives Changed by Christ. And I kind of coached and mentored and spent some time with Carl. I saw potential and what God was calling him to do. But most recently, as most of you know, Crystal Parker at the United States Christian Chamber of Commerce, she's become a real great partner and friend to IHNHR and the faith-driven HR movement. So as we forged our relationship with Crystal and the United States Christian Chamber of Commerce, it percolated in Carl's heart at the same time that we need a Christian chamber in Pennsylvania. So I met Carl a couple weeks ago, and Carl took it from Lancaster, not just having it for Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but to do it statewide because we see as a statewide opportunity. So Carl, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about how God put that on your heart and how you're navigating the launch?
Yeah, so in the beginning of my career, before I started my company, I was a worship leader at LCBC actually, and while I was working there, I had such a heart for entrepreneurship and business that's how I really got started on my first company. And when I got into the business space, though, I realized that there was a big hole, and that was that ministry and biblical, like using your business for God's glory at that point in time really wasn't a prominent thing. And it really made me sad because to me, our business can be such a place to minister to others and change lives. And I think even Billy Graham said that the revival is going to come through the workplace. And so over the years, I just have been diligent about, okay, how do I bring more of God into the workplace and really make an impact that way? And so I've been looking for, how can I help with that process? And coaching is great. Love it. I'm not going to stop doing it. But in meeting Crystal, I was speaking at a conference that she was speaking at and just really kind of heard her heart. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Sure.
So I talked to her and we kind of dabbled. I think I actually said I should meet with you, but then never actually met with her. And then about 6 months later, I had some friends that were just really poking at me. They're like, Carl, you need to look at this Christian chamber. You should do this. And so I called Crystal and I said, hey, I'm going to reach out to some people and let's see what happens. I'm going to schedule a breakfast and let's just see what happens. And we had a massive turnout of some of the greatest Christian business leaders that I know in Lancaster show up because they had a passion for it. But not only that, all of a sudden, I started getting calls from around the state, people saying, hey, could we talk about what it would look like to have a Christian chamber in Philadelphia or State College, Pittsburgh? And so I was like, okay, Lord, I wasn't planning on doing anything more than just meeting with people, but I guess there's something going on here. There's a movement. And that was really the beginning of me starting to push into this and say, okay, maybe we should do this.
And there is a movement, Carl, and I've been blessed to participate in several meetings that Carl's put on to gather traction here in Lancaster and statewide. And that's the area that we're going to talk about next is really relational poverty, because I think as I attend these meetings and I talk to business owners and ministry leaders that are in these meetings, they're all saying the same thing. I love being able to connect with other business people that are believers because we have our own issues, we have our own struggles, but most importantly, we want to cover ourselves in prayer as we navigate what God's calling us all to do. So you're exactly right, Carl. Billy Graham has said that the next revival could possibly come from the workplace. And that's really why IHN HR 14 years ago launched, to be able to support, from an HR perspective, organizations that want to be faithful. So this is so exciting. How do you see this helping across the state of Pennsylvania as it relates to relational poverty? How do you see this unfolding, in Danville, Pennsylvania, or Northumberland, or Du Bois, or even State College may have a chapter? How do you see that happening?
Well, the body of believers, in essence, I feel called to bring church to the workplace. And the body of believers in the workplace is really important. It's important for us to build a relationship with each other. And I'm talking about real relationship here. I'm not talking about the surface stuff of, hey, how you doing, Billy? Great to see you, that type of stuff. But really, what's really going on in your heart? And what are the things that God's challenging you on? What are the things holding you back right now? Do you have things that is your marriage struggling? What's going on in your world? Do you have some issues with your kids right now and you need help? I just see a lot of lonely islands out there of men and women trying to do this alone. And we weren't designed to do it alone. And so I hope that this ministry and organization begins to bring those people together so that we can have those deep relationships and walk together.
And it absolutely will do that. It's exploding nationwide, not just in Pennsylvania. It's lovely to hear Crystal's updates when she says we have a new chapter in this small area in Ohio or Wisconsin. It's such a great opportunity. And one of the things that came up in one of the recent meetings that we were having, Carl, was about building in biblical principles into training versus what's out in the world. We know what's out in the world isn't working. Companies are collapsing. We're watching the companies collapse. Their models aren't working. We're watching Christian organizations flourish and grow. How do you see these biblical principles being shared out through the chamber?
Well, obviously, the Bible has to be our grounding point, and it's so relative today. I know that some people, they struggle to read God's word. I think it's maybe because it's a duty for them or they feel like they have to. But when those words come alive, everything changes. So my hope is that we really can pull the church together, the body of believers, to grow in how they use their business from a biblically grounded standpoint. And as they do that, then that shows the love of Jesus to the world around them. So people are like, hey, there's something different here. What's going on?
Thank you.
And even some boldness too. Like I see a lot of people really timid about sharing their faith. They say less than 1% of Christians will ever lead somebody to the Lord. So let's empower each other to feel confident in going out and sharing and evangelizing the good news to others.
It will do that.
And so, I hope it does that. Or it will do that. I agree. I like your word. It will do that.
It's going to offer a lot of opportunities for people to get exposed to materials that they haven't been exposed to before, because this is really our season. 2025 has been pivotal But 2026, we're going to see a great increase with what's happening with Christian businesses. CEA is a prominent organization. They're growing rapidly as well. But, Carl, you say something that's really important. You're saying lead with prayer, and that's something that's in my heart. I'm actually going through the book Lead with Prayer by Peter Greer, another Lancaster hometown hero from Hope International. We all love Peter, and he's such a great encourager.
Yeah.
And that's a great concept that you bring up, that we do need to lead with prayer in everything that we do from a business perspective. And then what do you see eventually over the next couple months into 2027? How do you see the chamber growing?
Yeah, so right now we just have an overwhelming response from people. Every day I'm getting new emails. Hey, I heard about this. Can you tell me more? And so next year, our goal is really to draw all these people together. We're going to start pretty much in central PA, but we're also talking to a few other people around the state to see if they really would want to spearhead launching in their region. And everybody is so drawn to this. It's so cool. They're just how can I be involved?
They are. Folks that are listening, it's almost like a revival. You show up and there's 60, 80 people. You're like, how did it? And Carl explains, it's not me. I send the email, the Holy Spirit delivers, and people show up. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing. So Carl, I want to thank you so much for being on our podcast. We're definitely going to have you back on in 2026. Listeners, this isn't just about Pennsylvania. I kind of tricked Carl on getting him onto the podcast. This is about the whole United States. Mm-hmm. If you're listening in Iowa, Wisconsin, Washington State, and especially California, reach out to Crystal Parker. Let's get a chamber going in your area, and let's just bring joy, positivity, and encouragement for work in 2026 to all our organizations. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye now.
This episode of Encouragement for Work has been brought to you by Job Shepherd. Post-COVID-19 recruitment has been unquestionably hard for employers, with many struggling to find quality employees in the aftermath. Religious exempt employers have had an especially difficult time. Welcome to Job Shepherd, a platform that will change all of this for you. Job Shepherd was created to meet the demand by Christian employers, including ministries, camps, churches, colleges, and Christian for-profit companies in their search for qualified job candidates. Now, for a limited time only, employers post a job for free. Job seekers, come join us. You are always free. Learn more at www.jobshepherd.com.